Hi, team. Thank you, everyone, for signing on. Happy February. Um, Michael, can you please turn your camera on? This is a department-wide meeting. We need cameras on. Thank you. Cheryl, you do not have to react to everything I say. All right, guys. Like I said, thank you so much for coming to the February meeting. So a month into the new year, I don't know if any of you read my memo on standards and practices going forward for the new year, but so I just wanted to have a little touch base with you all now that we're in February about my memo. Like I said, 2026 is the year of kindness. So remember to be kind, considerate, and patient with your coworkers. Donna, we cannot call our coworkers lazy ass baboon sluts just because we didn't get to make our deadline. Also, part of being kind and considerate, please refrain from making overly sexual remarks to your coworkers. Michael, I'm looking at you. You can't sexually harass all the women in the office but me. If you're gonna sexually harass all the women, you have to include me or nothing. And lastly, we really need to work on our language. In emails to customers, I have noticed words such as slut, whore, harlot, vagabond. I don't even know what a vagabond is, but I know it's not okay. So, guys, just please remember to keep things civil, polite, and patient. And most importantly, it's Sunday. Welcome to Crips and Corks. Hi, everyone. It has been a hot minute.
Yes, it's been so long.
It's been a minute. This is Crips and Corks. I'm your host, DJ, and I was the inspiration for The Lady is a Tramp, along with my co-host,
Paul, and I would top a twink, but would I stop and think?
No.
As usual. And oh my gosh.
Jesus.
We abandoned you guys for a whole month.
Yeah. I'm sorry. We needed a little hiatus. We needed, after 2.5 full years of going nonstop, producing episodes every week, along with a smattering of bonus content. We just needed to take a break, to take a step back, recollect ourselves, and to change some things up.
Yes, we did a whole complete rebranding, as you guys can tell. New logos, honestly, new stories, just new everything. And we're coming back bigger, brighter, dumber, sluttier, more wet in the pants, if you will, hotter. All sorts of different things are different now. And it's going to be so much better. And I'm so much fucking excited for all of this. It's gonna be so cool. I'm just so excited to be back.
Now, I know we used the D word a lot just now. Different. But don't worry, because at our core, Crips and Corks is still going to be the booziest, spookiest, twinkiest podcast around. That's not going to change. Everything that you love about us, we did keep the same. It's just we grew a little.
Yes, and by different stories, I meant darker stories, funnier stories, just awesome stories all around.
Yeah.
We're not changing our categories of content. It's just getting darker, spookier, funner, sluttier, sexier, funnier, more edgy, all the fun adjectives.
Yeah, Paul started working out so that he can get prettier.
Exactly. And DJ's been eating more Arby's, as you can tell.
And you know what? Fuck you. See, we're no different.
He just constantly has the meat sweats.
Oh, Jesus. Well, I think now is a good time to get into our blessings and our curses.
Yes, yes.
So, Paul, tell me a blessing from this last month of hiatus.
Oh, geez. A blessing from the last month is getting to, like, take some time and just, like, think about life and get my priorities back together. And just, like, honestly, my real blessing for today is being back, being able to record again and everything. And I will say my curse right off the bat, I'm coming for a brand, okay? I got that free 30-day trial of the Dash Pass, right?
Yeah.
Which, if you are illiterate, it's DoorDash's membership that gives you discounts and things. And they told me that if I order 4 orders, I will get a free $25. So little me, I do my 4 orders, I'm getting up in the gig, doing the thing, doing my God-given right as a citizen, and ordering my 4 orders. Then after that 4th order, I'm like, where's my $25? I look in the DoorDash app. They said, your $25 is going to be available in 45 days. 45 days I have to wait for my goddamn $25. I will put a screenshot on the screen to tell you guys, just to show you guys, I'm not even bluffing. What? I was putting in these 4 orders in 1 week thinking I'll have my $25 for the fucking weekend.
Now, is it, like, to keep you on Dash Pass? Like,
I guess it has to be something.
like, if you delete it, do you lose your $45 or your $25?
I hope not, because I put in my 4 orders, DoorDash. Okay, DoorDash, you better be in these fucking comments right now. Because they said at the end of this promotional period, you will receive your $25.
Oh, so
and it's
I wonder... So maybe it's for people who aren't crazy like you and order DoorDash daily.
Yeah.
And so there's like set periods where there's an earning period and then a spending period.
Probably, yes. But DoorDash, you better run me my fucking $25. You're on my shit list. And I'm coming for you right off the bat here, okay?
I've also been having problems with DoorDash because, like, that's my preferred food ordering app. But you go on there, and now there's, like, do you want to order something from Target? Do you want to order something from Walgreens? Do you want to order something from Dick's Sporting Goods? And it's like, no, I want a cheeseburger.
They're trying so hard to be Instacart. It's crazy.
Yeah, and it's like... you don't have to push it so hard. If I wanted, I would find it.
Exactly.
But, like, you know me. Like, I've never... DoorDash, honey, sweetie, baby, angel cakes. I have never ordered anything that is not food. And when I say food, I mean ready-made food that is ready for me to consume as soon as the DoorDasher has gone away. So he does not witness me unhinge my jaw and open my mouth like Pennywise the Clown in It to consume it in one bite.
Very that. No.
Why would you think I want to order something from Walgreens?
I will say, though, Uber Eats and DoorDash, they are cheaper than Instacart, so, like, that's kind of like a... Because the Instacart delivery fee is, like, $8, we're getting too far into the different apps and things. Just know DoorDash is on my shit list. What's your blessing and curse?
My blessing, I did get a new phone. I got the iPhone 17. It's the first time ever in my life where I got the current version of the iPhone. Because I've always had to, like, get a model or two previous. Yeah. Because that's being on somebody else's phone line. But I'm on my own phone line. I got the new phone. I'm really thrilled about it. But my curse is I tried to get away from Paul. I changed my number. There was no way for him to contact me. But one night I'm lying in bed and I hear and I open my eyes and he's clutching my ceiling and his head swivels around and he looks at me and he goes, "You thought you could get away, bitch."
Very that, very that. I'm kind of like a botched HPV vaccine that just keeps coming back to haunt you.
You're like those demented, the weird dancy demon twins from Lovecraft Country. Topsy and Bopsy. I'll have to show you a video. They're creepy.
Yeah, I've never heard of her. But...
Not really. I do have the same phone number for anyone who has the same number. I just don't have a curse because it was a pretty pleasant month all around.
It was a good month. We saw friends, family. We did the holiday thing. It was cool.
Yes.
No, it was a good month. But it's about to be an even better February and rest of the year.
Oh my gosh, because we're back doing this.
Exactly.
I missed it because there were so many times where on a Saturday I go, oh shit, I haven't done the photo dump. Right. And it's like, there is no photo dump.
Right.
And now I know.
There's just this dump.
I know next week when this comes out, it's going to be like midnight. I'm going to go, shit, the photo dump because I haven't done it in so long.
Right.
So, in talking the things that keep us up at night, shall we drink?
Well, we should just probably address to the folks first that we aren't doing Pop Culture Corner here anymore. But don't fret, we are moving Pop Culture Corner to Twinks and Drinks. Which, if you don't know, Twinks and Drinks is our live TikTok we do every week. We are bringing that back.
Yes.
Starting, not February 1st, but February 7th. Yes.
February 7th. We'll be live on TikTok, 7
p.m. That's a Sunday.
Eastern. Please check out all of our social medias because if anything changes, we'll post it in our stories.
Yes.
Just like if we're going to start earlier, if we're going to start later. Yeah.
Yeah, so join us every Sunday on TikTok Live. Maybe we'll hit Instagram Live sometimes. Yeah. And we're going to be talking about pop culture, talking about maybe last week's episode. Yeah. We're going to be talking about all sorts of things we can't talk about here because here we got to get right to the spooky shit. And we have so much shit we want to talk about other than the spooky shit. So that will be our Twinks and Drinks on TikTok, maybe Instagram Live every Sunday at 7 p.m. Now we can get into the beverage.
Okay, so I splurged. I got us a bottle of Chardonnay from one of my favorite wineries, Cakebread Cellars.
I've never actually heard of them.
Really? Because I brought this over to you once before.
Oh, I guess I have heard of them. Whoops.
So, since our first vintage in 1973, our family has believed that a great glass of wine is best shared with good friends and fine food. Enjoy the Cakebread family. Our flagship wine is aged 8 months in 30% new, 70% neutral French oak barrels, featuring notes of apple, citrus, and ripe pear. This Chardonnay is balanced by refreshing acidity and a light touch of oak.
I will say, cake bread do sound real good.
Right.
I could go for some cake bread right now. We gonna have to figure out what cake bread is, and we gonna have to make it at some point because that sounds good.
Like a lemon loaf or pound cake.
Maybe a pound cake, but with the glaze. You gotta put a little glaze on it, like a.
Oh,
cake.
I kind of just love pound cake by itself with fresh strawberries. You don't like fruit and dessert.
I don't like fruit desserts. Not my thing.
Okay,
Ugh.
You've never been fondue, but so if you go to the melting pot and you get the dessert, they give you pieces of pound cake and you dip it in the chocolate. And pound cake and like pure melted milk chocolate is just divine.
See, I could fuck with that. That sounds good. I could mess with that. That sounds cool. Now, while you're struggling to get that open, I will also say to our audience that... Oh, you got it open.
The thing just came off.
Okay.
And I wish I had known that beforehand because that would have really...
While you're struggling to get that open, if you see us shivering, it's because it's -2 degrees right now where we are. And we have to turn off the heat while we record this. So if you see us shivering, it's because it's cold as F out. And we had to turn off the heat to make the sound quality great.
You're welcome.
Exactly. We're suffering for you guys.
All right. It's the time for everyone's favorite toy.
Ooh. Kind of does sound like a vibrator.
I know. From the Trundle Manor episode.
Oh. Oh, that wasn't a very good pop.
No, it wasn't. It's never a good pop with this one. But anyways.
the first, if I could talk today, the first ASMR pour back. Trickle, trickle, went the pickle.
You can't say stuff like that when I'm trying to focus.
I can smell this wine from here. That's crazy.
Does it smell good?
It does. Yeah. Sorry.
This is definitely, as I smell it, this is definitely a breathing wine. Like, it's going to taste better the more it sits out.
Most Chardonnay is.
Yeah.
And a lot of Chardonnay is dishwater wine for me, so we'll see how this
really?
one
Okay.
goes.
Well, cheers.
Cheers. As far as Chardonnays goes,
Yeah.
she's not a dishwater wine,
No.
okay? She's pretty good.
She's almost more like a Sauvignon Blanc or a Pinot Grigio.
A little bit, yeah.
Right off the bat.
But I will say, she do got that Chardonnay aftertaste that I'm not
The
really
oakiness.
fucking with. Yeah, I'm gonna give this one, and if anyone's new and joining us, we do rate our wines on 1 to 5 grapes.
Yes, we do.
1 being the worst and 5 being the best. And I'm gonna give this one 3.5 grapes.
I'm going to give it 5 because I spent $45 on it, so.
Was the $45 worth it for you? Is it worth
If I finish the bottle.
if you finish the bottle?
Yeah.
Now, taste-wise, is it worth the $45?
Yes, I will say, because most Chardonnays, like, you don't get the wonderful fruitiness that this one has.
Mm-hmm.
And I do like that because I am starting to tend towards lighter white wines.
Mm-hmm.
Because I don't drink a lot of white wines anymore.
Right, neither do I. We definitely have leaned more towards the red wines as the podcast has progressed.
So I don't know about you, but I think I have a problem metabolizing white wines, and it gets me drunker versus a red wine.
Mm-hmm.
But actually, white wines are worse for you, whereas red wines are really good for your health because they have lots of antioxidants.
That makes sense. The more you know, kids. We're learning right off the bat here.
So the next time you're at brunch with your bitch-ass mother-in-law and she says, "I'll have a glass of white wine. I'm watching my weight." Order the biggest glass of red wine and go, "Deborah, did you know red wine is full of antioxidants that are good for your heart? If you had one."
And I'm sure that'll make her cry. Just kidding. I think if you do that, you should go harder. I think you should be like, "And whoever, you're a fat bitch. And keep slopping on your pig trough, and I'll drink whatever the fuck I want."
You went so hard.
Well, your insult was so elementary. I had to take it
Well,
somewhere.
yeah, no one's gonna actually say that they're their mother-in-law. Can you tell why Paul's not married?
Yeah, that's
Does
the
not
reason.
play well with families.
No, I mean, I do. Like, I'm the kind of guy you take home to mother, but you don't tell them the full story of what I do. You tell them, "Oh, he's a stand-up corporate guy." And then you just keep all the spooky shit down under, okay? Let them find that out for themselves.
Paul's also the type of person to blurt out to his boyfriend's father, "You know, your son calls me daddy too."
I mean, if it's accurate, it's accurate.
Okay. So, Paul,
DJ,
let me tell you a story.
let's get into it. Yeah?
Before her name became forever tied to one of Hollywood's darkest moments, Sharon Tate was a young actress full of promise, warmth, and possibility. She was a fresh face for a new swinging generation. But that is not what we remember her for, instead only remembering her tragic fate and those who perpetrated it. So in this first part, let's get into Murder in Hollywood, Sharon Tate and the Day the 60s Died.
Ooh! Now, there is something I need to address
Yes.
real quick right off the bat here about Miss Sharon Tate. And it is her last name, Tate. because
What about it? If you're gonna make a taint joke,
I was gonna say that, especially like parents who name their kids Tate. It's like you're just asking
no, Tate
for
was
it.
her last name.
I know,
That
but
was their last
there
name.
are parents who name their kids Tate, and it's like, girl, that's too close to taint.
Oh my
You can't be
God.
doing that, okay? Like, you're just asking for your kid to get bullied. Don't name your kids Tate if you don't want me to bully them on the internet.
And he will bully.
Yes.
But anyways, yes. So I chose this wine because this is a California wine, and she was a Hollywood actress.
And the 70s, right? It was, wait, no, okay.
She didn't make it to the 70s. Spoiler.
She didn't. Wait, wait, she doesn't make it?
Okay.
I thought this was just gonna. Okay.
Serious. I do have some trigger warnings for this story. It does end quite grisly and gruesome with graphic depictions of violence and blood. There are going to be mentions of suicide and sexual assault throughout this episode. I'll try to call them out, but if that's something that really bothers you, you know the thing.
When we said darker, we weren't joking.
So who was Sharon Tate? I'm glad you asked.
I don't know.
Sharon Marie.
Sorry. Keep going.
Calm yourself. We're one day back, not even, and you're already drunk.
I'm not drunk. I'm just having a good time.
Okay.
I'm trying to give the people the content, you know?
Yeah. You said that at your mother's wedding too before you split your pants.
I didn't split my pants there. They got pulled down by the DJ.
Okay.
Call me.
Sharon Marie Tate was born in Dallas, Texas on January 24th, 1943, just a year after her parents' first anniversary. Her father, Paul, was an Army intelligence officer who had rise through the ranks to eventually become a colonel. And her mother, Doris, was a housewife.
Interesting. Okay, so this is going to be one of those like normal people to famous people stories.
Yes.
I love that. I love those stories.
Yeah. And her father was at the forefront of Army intelligence. He got in at the start of World War II where it was burgeoning. Tar.
Pearl. You sounded like the girls from Kath and Kim.
Hello, Pearl.
Hello,
Pearl. How are you today? I'm a bit tired, actually.
Very that.
Would you like this grayish there for your catch?
Pearl, my daughter Tate.
Jesus. So yeah, her father is at the forefront of Army intelligence, so he got in early, and as it grew, through World War II and into the Cold War, he just kept advancing.
Okay.
And he was a career military man. He never left after the war. He stayed in the military, and that was his career. Sharon was an especially pretty child. At the urging of family and friends, Doris actually submitted a photo of her into a baby beauty pageant called the Miss Tiny Tot of Dallas pageant.
And if you know anything about child pageants in the South, those mothers take that shit very seriously in the South, okay?
Yes.
I don't know if y'all seen Honey Boo Boo, but that shit goes crazy.
Jesus. And Sharon won. Now, despite what you were saying, Doris and Paul had no interest in doing the pageant circuit with their baby. This wasn't a real pageant like we think of now on TLC. They sent a photo, there were judges, and Sharon won, and that was the end of it.
Yeah, I do get that, because I don't think I'd put my child in pageants either. I think it's a little weird to, dress your kid up like that, and, I don't know. There's something a little off about it.
Yeah, it was just oh my God, Doris, your baby... Hang on, they're from the South. Oh my God, Doris, little Sharon's so pretty. You need to put her in Miss Tiny Tot of Dallas.
Don't worry, they kicked out all the pedophiles this time.
No, this was the 40s.
The pedophiles are still in.
We didn't know pedophiles existed then.
Oh, jeez.
Okay, but so that was a one and done. Probably because Paul's military career took off and the family often had to move. Sharon was that classic military brat. They moved somewhere, she would enroll in high school, she'd be there for a year or two, and then they would move on to another base.
Okay.
And because of this, she found it really hard to make friends, and she remained a really shy and reserved child. She lacked self-confidence because she didn't have close friends. So even though she was exceptionally pretty, she really didn't feel good enough.
Alexa, play You Don't Know You're Beautiful by One Direction.
Oh my god.
You don't know you're beautiful. That's what makes you beautiful. Sorry, go ahead.
Now, probably one of the reasons why she did have self-esteem issues growing up, and this is just conjecture, is that her father was a very exacting and particular man whose career in the military only added to his sense of wanting things to be perfectly in order. Like, think normal military person, like, everything has to be a certain way.
Do you know how anxious that would make me? If I grew up with a military father, do you know how much more anxious I would be?
Yeah, no, that's kind of where Sharon was at.
Right.
Was like, okay, dad wants to do this. And even friends, like, later in high school said, like, if Major Colonel Tate was at the base...
Colonel Tate? That's my porn name.
If Mr. Tate was at the base working... Stop! It's just a name, Paul.
I know.
Jesus, what are you, 13?
No, okay, we'll calm down. We'll be serious.
So her friends later on would say, like, oh yeah, like, if Mr. Tate was working at the base, she'd, like, have me over and we'd do our homework together. And her mom was really nice. But, like, if her dad was home, I would get to her house and she'd be waiting on the porch with her purse. And she'd be like, let's go to the library. Let's go to a cafe. Because she just didn't want to be around him.
I would have been friends with her in high school.
Yeah. Now, that's not to say she didn't love him, because she did love her father. But she was much closer to her mother, who she spent, like, she didn't have friends, so she became friends with her mom. They spent hours. She would help her mom, like, around the house. And Doris would, like, teach her how to cook. And that became a lifelong passion for Sharon. And Sharon was described as being like a true homebody. She just liked being at home, reading, cooking, doing chores. That was her thing.
Me too, girl. Me too. I love being in my home. As I'm approaching my 30s, I'm appreciating being inside a lot more.
Now, as a student, she wasn't great. Like, she wasn't terrible, but, like... Her friend said, like, she just preferred to rush through homework to just get done with it without really retaining any of the information. She also had a tendency to flit from interests. So rather than, like, say, joining the band and sticking with band throughout high school, she would, like, be like, oh, yeah, I'm going to join the band. And then she'd go for a little bit. And then she'd be like, yeah, no, I'm going to, like, do ballet instead.
Yeah, I get that too, because, like, when you have so many interests like that, like, you just go one thing to the next. I did the same thing. Yeah. I did band, dance, like, YouTube. I did so many things.
She didn't really have any, like, deep, enduring passions during this time. With the exception of cooking, as I mentioned before, these were the only classes where she excelled in, and that she would enroll in and stay through the whole course. Mm-hmm. And she actually won a couple banking competitions that she entered.
Good for her. Good for her. And you have to think, too, this is a time where they had, like, future homemakers of America clubs and things like this. So doing things like that, it was a very normal thing. It was, like, did want to, like, do things like that and be a homemaker and things like that. It was definitely very much encouraged.
And that's the only thing that remained constant is, like, well, Sharon, what do you want to do when you grow up? I want to be a wife and a mom.
Exactly. And that was so normal at that time.
That stayed with her, like, throughout her life. Mm-hmm. That desire to be a wife and a mom.
Right. And I will say, so I don't get canceled, that's normal at this time, too. If you want to be a stay-at-home mom, that's your prerogative. Yes. And we support you.
It's normal. It's just not expected.
Exactly.
And when I say expected, it's you can do whatever you want. We're not going to assume.
Exactly.
It's normal, but it's not assumed, rather than expected.
Period.
Now, she was joined by two younger sisters, Deborah in 1952 and Patty in 1957. So they're about 10 and 15 years younger than her, roughly.
Geez. That's such a big difference.
Roughly.
That's big.
Well, remember, like, Paul's moving all around. His wife's kind of following him.
So. That makes sense. When you're, like, a male moving on, it makes it hard.
So they probably waited till he was a little higher up in the ranks. He was a little more, like, settled.
Right. And they already had one kid, so it's like not rushing. The grandparents aren't pressuring them to have kids, things like that.
And she loved being a big sister. She'd spend hours playing with Deborah and Patty, and she really loved helping Doris take care of them. Like I said, like from an early age, she really like set out to be like this happy homemaker.
Very nice. See, you're making her sound like this angel. I'm just waiting for the part where you're like, yeah, and then she dove into drugs and rock and roll.
Okay, just keep that, put that on the back burner.
Okay.
As she grew older, Sharon went from being a pretty child to being an exceptionally beautiful young woman. Everyone who knew her or was around her described how she would walk in somewhere and everyone's head would turn. Men, women, children, chinchillas just stared at her.
I can relate to that. That happens to me all the time.
Yeah, it's definitely because of your beauty and not the
The what? You want to finish that sentence, or you want to get beat the fuck up?
You really want me to finish that sentence?
No, I don't. I don't want you to finish that sentence. It's the lazy eye, isn't it? They're looking at that. They're trying to figure out which way I'm looking.
It depends on how me. Okay, so I recently saw. So you know, in ancient Egypt, cats were revered as sacred.
Yeah.
So apparently now, all throughout Egypt, cat sanctuaries are springing up because like they're getting back into that. And somebody took a picture of this one and they said, I can see why this cat is considered sacred because he can see both sides of the Nile. Because
His eyes were...
he was blind. It's like, he can see both sides of the Nile. And I was like, oh. Could you just...
That would be me.
Could you just imagine
me as a cat?
Like, oh, sacred cat is the cat that's blind. It's like, meow. Walks into walls. Has to be guided to its food dish.
Me as a cat.
Truly. So let me show you a picture of her. Get rid of that.
Oh my god. The cheekbone, the jaw, she is drop dead gorgeous.
Right, and that's all natural.
Jesus.
She came out the womb looking like that.
So many celebrities today have
Wish.
hundreds of thousands of dollars of plastic
surgery to look like this.
Yes, and she just had it.
She just had it.
Okay, that's honestly
so
the
like
first
you said,
real...
she had really high, prominent cheekbones. She had wide hazel eyes, and she had this beautiful honey blonde hair.
Okay, that's the first real picture I've seen of her, and I'm like taken aback. I didn't
Yes.
realize she was like that drop dead gorgeous.
I chose that picture because there's some pictures where she's like really made up, like because she later on in the swinging 60s she did a lot of false lashes, she did eyeliners, she did bolder colors, she did like the teased hair. But I wanted to do that picture just to showcase how naturally beautiful she was.
She so beautiful. That's crazy.
In 1959, when she was like a junior in high school, they were living outside of Seattle, Washington, and she entered a local beauty pageant and won the title of Miss Richland. And she spoke of her two ambitions: to run for Miss Washington in 1960 and to study psychology. Because she discovered psychology in high school and she decided she wanted to study psychology and become a psychologist.
Very nice. Good for her. Good for her. Aspirations and dreams.
Yeah. Now, before either of those things could happen, her father was transferred to an army base in Italy and the entire family moved to Verona.
Interesting. Okay, living in Italy would be pretty cool.
Now, upon arriving, Sharon discovered that she was actually something of a local celebrity because she had recently posed for photographs that appeared on the cover of the military magazine Stars and Stripe, where she wore a swimsuit, cowboy boots, and she was riding a rocket.
Could you imagine going to Italy and you're already a celebrity there? Do you know how cool that would be? Oh my god. This girl, she has it all.
So it was mostly like her classmates, it's like, oh yeah, like a really hot chick's coming. And then she got there and she was kind of shy and reserved at first. Remember, like, she's not used to it. But when she got there, she discovered for the first time in her life, she was in a base school. She went to the American high school in Vicenza. and it was all army brats like her, who all had the same experience, who all had the same fears, like, around making friends. And she started developing deep, lasting friendships for the first time in her life.
Oh, good for her.
But could you imagine, like, 17 and you've never had, like, a real friend?
Okay, that would be sad, actually. But hey, I mean, okay, I guess she didn't have it all then.
Yeah.
I guess sometimes the grass isn't always greener. You can be pretty, but you don't always have friends. So I guess that's a lesson, I guess.
Yeah. Now, her startling beauty did cause some issues. Because she was very pretty, attracted a lot of attention. Some of it unwanted, such as in the case of a teacher who made sexual advances at her.
Oh.
And he had to be reprimanded. And this got out, and everyone started to, like, discuss whether she was actually a virgin like she claimed or not. Because it's like, she's too pretty. Like, there's no way she's really a virgin.
See, and this shit is still happening today. Girls cannot do anything. They can't date or do anything without people speculating all sorts of crazy shit. Like, leave this girl alone. Like, and I bet that teacher, the only reprimanding he probably got was a slap on the wrist, and he couldn't have his cannoli at lunch.
Now, I am going to mention this. I only found it in one source, but it does give you an idea of, like, sort of her self-esteem issues. But there are reports that during this time period, like her late high school years, she would, like, sometimes go on dates with cadets from the local army base. Just, they'd go out for coffee.
Right.
But I did see in Sharon Tate and the Manson Murders by Greg King.
Murder? Who got murdered?
I'll tell you at the end. That she might have been raped on one of these dates, and she was so scared of embarrassing her father that she never reported it.
That's actually really awful. That makes me feel... I mean, I already feel so much for this girl, and that just...
And also, like, everyone in her class is, like, wondering if she's a virgin, and she's not, and it was against her will.
Yeah, I don't even know what to say to that. That's just so fucked up and so sad.
Now, mind you, take that... I am going to say, caveat, take that with a grain of salt. I only saw that in one book, and I even, like, Googled, was Sharon Tate raped? And I couldn't find any, like, anything else on Google.
Okay.
So I don't know if it's just that Google is looking towards later events or not. So do take that with a grain of salt. And if I'm mistaken, like I name my source, please correct me.
Go after the source.
Kindly, considerately correct me. I will take considerate criticism.
Or go after the source that gave us that information, okay?
Now, at the time, a lot of American movie companies would come to Italy to film movies because it was cheaper in post-war Italy. And she and her friends soon became interested in the local film set of Hemingway's Adventures of a Young Man and visited the set and were actually cast as extras.
I mean, look at her. She's so pretty. They probably saw her and like, we need this girl in this movie right now. Like,
now, Sharon was noticed by one of the stars of the film, Richard Bramer, who, if you've ever seen the original West Side Story, he played Tony.
Yeah, I've definitely seen that. Yeah.
And he introduced himself, and the two began dating.
Oh.
So she's dating a whole ass movie star.
Good for her. A scandalo. Love it.
He encouraged Sharon to embark on a career in movies, and Sharon actually began to think about it, putting aside her hopes of studying psychology.
Okay, well, let's be real. Psychology or being a movie star? Let's be real for a second. Which would you choose? Everyone would want to be a movie star. Like...
Paul, you and I run an independent podcast out of your living room. Of course I want to be a movie star. Right.
We love attention, guys.
Our job is literally just talking into the void for an hour and a half.
Exactly.
Anyways, in 1960, she was again employed as an extra for the filming of Barabbas and got the attention of star Jack Palance, who arranged for her to take a screen test in Rome. For those of you who don't know, a screen test is where they would film you doing some basic lines, some basic movement, and they would keep it on file so that when directors were casting, they would go through, they would look at the screen test, and they would then say, like, okay, I want to hire you. Rather than, like, auditioning every single time. Or they would, like, call you for audition based on that. And also as a chance to be like, okay, this girl actually doesn't photograph well, so we're just going to say, thanks, honey, and never call her. Which was not the case with Sharon.
And if you need an example, there's a whole category of it on Pornhub.
Exactly. This, however, the screen testing room led to no rules, because whenever producers would call the house, Paul would tell them Sharon was no longer interested and hang up.
Damn.
He was not interested in his daughter becoming a movie star.
Well, I don't blame him. All the shady shit that goes... Well, he probably wasn't too aware of what was going down in Hollywood at the time.
It was very much like, no, my daughter doesn't need attention, like...
She's already got too much.
Exactly.
Could you imagine being her father and trying to, like, protect her from all these crazy dudes?
He's a military man. He has guns. He has cannons. He has rockets.
Right, but he's got to protect him from the other military men. The military men can be dogs, okay? And they also have the same guns and rockets and stuff. I bet that man was stressed as shit.
Have you ever had sex with a military man?
No.
He was retired military. Oh. Now, could you imagine what it would be like if you still in there, fresh home from leave, still smelling like the field?
Smelling like the showers.
Has not seen another twink in 6 months.
Smells like he's been sleeping in a room with 20 other men for 3 months. 20 other straight men. Clarify, straight men. He probably smelled like pine cones, Old Spice, and sweat.
No. But no, there's something different about military. Maybe it's the uniform.
Yeah, I'm not too into military.
Okay. So at the end of that year, Sharon graduated from high school and traveled back to the United States, telling her parents that she was going to look at colleges. Really, she went to Hollywood, reunited with Bramer, and started to look at breaking into the movie business. However, after a few months, Doris suffered a nervous breakdown, perhaps due to the absence of her beloved eldest daughter, and Sharon was convinced to return to Italy.
Okay. I mean, it's still Italy, though. Italy's not that bad.
Now, in 1962, the Tates returned to the United States permanently, and Sharon was immediately taken with the new atmosphere within the States brought in with the Kennedy administration. So you have to remember, like, the last time she was in the States, it was, like, very I Love Lucy, black and white, very conservative, like, nobody talked about smoking or drinking. And then when she comes back, it's the Kennedy era, and you have color photographs, and you have parties, and you have this gorgeous new couple in the White House who look like movie stars, and they hang out with movie stars like Marilyn Monroe, and like the new frontier, we're going to the moon, and just like the endless possibility. And she's like, yes, this is my time.
Period. That does sound really awesome,
right? She again moved to Los Angeles and contacted Paul Bramer's agent, Harold Gifsky, who took one look at her and said, yeah, I'll sign you. I'll represent you.
She's got the tits of a young Danny DeVito. We need her in this movie now.
Gifsky then introduced her to producer Martin Ransenshoff. We're just going to call him Martin, who is the director of Filmways, Inc., who immediately who took one look at her. He was like, I gotta meet another actress, saw her. He said, when she walked into the room, he nearly fell out of his chair.
Gee, I'm so jealous of her. Honestly, I want to be her so bad. I want to be that pretty.
He immediately said, honey, I'm gonna make you a star. Signed her to a 7-year contract.
You smell a little bit like cannoli, but we'll get that right cleared up.
You smell like garlic.
Get her a cheeseburger bath stat.
Oh, Jesus. He took an immediate hands-on role in her career, sending her to countless acting and speech classes. He arranged for her to get an apartment in LA. Like, he took great care of her. Like,
Now, was the apartment on Pretty Girl Avenue, do you think?
no. I've heard it was a fairly famous apartment building because a lot of like young movie stars like lived there when they were first starting out. Cannot remember the name of it.
Interesting.
But he did refuse her to cast her in any roles, saying that she was too timid, too shy, and lacked confidence, and that she would just mess it up if he did it.
Oh, well, that's not good.
No. He did later say that he considered her for one of the starring roles in the upcoming TV sitcom Petticoat Junction, but ultimately cast another actress and said that Sharon just lacked confidence. And said that, yeah, if I would have sent her out there, her career would have been over before she made it into the frame. So finally he relented and started to give her small parts in TV shows such as Mr. Ed, which was about a talking horse,
Oh, I remember that one. I saw a couple episodes of her.
and the Beverly Hillbillies,
Okay.
in which she was featured in 15 episodes wearing a bad brunette wig in an effort to make her less attractive.
Damn. And I bet she was still the prettiest one there, too.
Yeah. It wasn't, like, a bad thing that she was attractive, but, like, she wasn't the star. She wasn't a guest star. She played a secretary. So it's just, like, we just need you to, like, kind of blend in the background.
Okay.
Now, while her career was progressing slowly, her personal life was heating up.
Oh.
As she began dating French actor Philippe Fouquet.
Fouquet. Do you want to Fouquet my Tate?
Well, apparently yes. Because they claimed immediately that they were madly in love.
Okay, I can see it. I mean, he does have a hot guy name, and, like, French guys can be kind of cute or whatever.
But her parents and Martin were totally against the match, saying you can't get married, you're too young, you haven't broken in the career. And also Sharon was very open about, as soon as I get married, I'm retiring from acting to be a wife and a mom.
Okay.
And so, now remember, Martin just signed her to a 7-year contract. We're 1 year in and she's like, I want to marry this man. I want to retire and have his babies. And he just spent like all this money on her.
I'd be pissed too. I'd be like, listen here, sugar tits. You're gonna be in front of that camera.
You're going to put on the bad wig. You're going to like it. You're going to say the shitty line.
Yes.
And you're going to like it.
And I swear to God, if you get pregnant, you're gonna have to. Sorry.
You're going to have... Sorry, emphysema. I really ought to switch to Camels, the preferred cigarette by 9 out of 10 doctors.
And if you get pregnant, you're playing the camel.
That was a good one.
I was gonna say before I actually, because that voice actually does make me cough like
Yes,
that
I know.
sometimes, because it like fucks with my throat. I was gonna say she was gonna have to play the horse in Mr. Ed, but you set me up for that camel joke, and I went for it.
You're welcome. Now, all the opposition to their relationship did not stop the two from announcing their engagement in 1963. But the two were badly matched and argued frequently, and it often turned physical. During one such fight, Fouquet struck Shannon so hard that she fell and, like, sprained or broke something.
Who's Shannon?
Sharon.
Oh, you said Shannon.
Sorry.
I was like, who the fuck's
I
Shannon?
slurred. My denture slipped. He struck Sharon so hard that she fell and, like, broke or sprained something. And she had to be rushed to the hospital for treatment. And then, like, he cooled down, he came, he picked her up, and she just went home with him.
I mean, victims of abuse do that a lot,
Yeah.
you know?
Now, going back to her, like, self-confidence issues, and this, like, and she was very open about, like, she felt the need to be, like, to have dominant men in her life. Whether that was the example set by her father, whether that was her self-confidence issues. It was a pattern in her life that she tended to date men who were very strong, dominant personalities.
Okay, okay.
But in 1964, the pair broke off their engagement, and with 4K's most recent film being a flop, he returned to France.
What can you do, you know? I mean, it's probably for the best. If he was going to keep hitting her, it's for the best
Yeah.
he went back to France.
And that face was too pretty to hit.
Exactly.
Paul's, on the other hand,
It's ready for it.
we can only go up from here. There's no getting any worse. Now, Sharon soon met celebrity hairstylist Jay Sebring and began dating him.
We see you, celebrity hairstylists. We know you're one of the girls, one of the dolls. But back in the day, you couldn't be one of the dolls.
Sebring was born Thomas James Coomer in Birmingham, Alabama. He served in the Navy during the Korean War and first learned how to cut hair while serving. Yes, Queen!
Literally serving. Did
Upon-
did you house down the boots, sis? Sorry, keep on.
Upon returning to the U.S., he attended beauty school and opened his own shop where he crafted a new revolutionary technique for cutting men's hair.
It's called fire. I just set your shit on fire, let it go for a while, and you wake up looking like that giraffe, that Toys R Us giraffe.
Well, actually, what he did was he kind of borrowed practices that were only being used for cutting women's hair at the time, such as scissor cutting, using hairspray rather than Brillo cream, shampooing, and he did that. And men's hair cutting is still done based on the way Jay Sebring developed.
Okay, that's actually pretty cool. That's actually pretty impressive. Respect to the king.
He soon became one of the most sought-after hairstylists in America, with clientele including superstars of the era like Frank Sinatra, who actually would fly him to Las Vegas to cut his hair before doing his Las Vegas shows.
That's cool. That's actually really cool. I can't downplay that. That's actually really cool.
Kirk Douglas even hired Sebring to come in and do all the hairstyling on his epic film Spartacus. Sebring and Tate were instantly, madly in love, and her parents even supported the match. They loved Jay Sebring. They were so for Jay Sebring.
Love that.
Now, Sharon would often stay at his Hollywood mansion, once owned by producer Paul Byrne and actress Jean Harlow, in which Byrne had committed suicide in the 30s. One night, Sharon woke to see a creepy little man staring menacingly at her from the foot of her bed, and she fled the room and found another man tied to the railing at the bottom of the steps with his throat slashed. Before she could scream, the entire scene disappeared, and she wondered if she had been dreaming or if she had witnessed a haunting and refused to ever spend the night alone in that house.
So wait, the people weren't there.
No.
So she saw a man at the end of her bed, and
A
then
creepy little man with dark eyes and a beard. And then when she ran out, she was going down the steps, and there was a man tied to the bottom, the railing?
Mm-hmm.
He was tied to the railing at the bottom of the steps, and he had his throat slashed.
Did she have any paranormal encounters before that, or was this just she woke up and
This is the only one that's documented.
Okay. And did she ever look into the history of the house? Was
Yeah,
anyone,
she knew about it.
So someone was murdered in the house before Sharon Tate lived there? Or no?
Paul Byrne ostensibly committed suicide.
Oh, you just said that.
Yes.
Okay, sorry.
However, there have been rumors for years that he was murdered, possibly by one of his associates or by his wife, Jean Harlow.
So maybe that was in her brain. Maybe she had a drink or two the night before.
Maybe. I don't know.
That's so weird, though. Either way, that's creepy. Could you imagine just going back to bed after that, though? If I saw that shit, I'd be up the rest of the night.
Now, you did mention before about drugs.
Mm-hmm.
So Sebring was known to do drugs, and him and Sharon started doing it lightly, recreationally.
Like weed or acid?
Weed. She's a big proponent of smoking weed. They did do some acid, and they did do cocaine.
Okay. So, I mean, maybe there was a little
And
something going
there
on there, girl.
There are unsubstantiated claims that Sebring was actually a cocaine dealer and that he was using his studios to deal.
I mean, I don't doubt it. Like,
It's just the 60s. I'm not making excuses. It was just the 60s.
it's what the girls were doing.
It was
you know?
just what was happening.
Yeah.
It's kind of like walking into a bar now.
Exactly.
And walking out with a 6-pack.
Very that.
Now, very soon into the relationship, Sebring proposed marriage to her. But she refused, saying that she would retire from acting as soon as she was married and she was too focused on her career. But the two kept dating, and Sharon actually gave him her high school ring.
Oh, wait. Sharon gave him her ring?
Yeah.
That's so interesting. Usually it's the other way around, especially like in the 60s gender roles and stuff. So it's interesting she gave him a ring instead of him giving her one.
Maybe it was like a little promise, like, I'm going to give this to you to, like, just show you, like, how committed I am.
Okay, that makes sense.
So, enough with the personal life. Let's get back to the important part, her career. Sharon was getting tired of waiting for her big break, and Martin knew this. He had again turned her down for 2 more roles she had wanted, most notably the role of Liesel in The Sound of Music. Now,
Please, give me Liesel!
No, wait. Have you ever seen The Sound of Music?
No.
Have you ever seen clips from it?
No.
Okay, so it starred Julie Andrews.
Mm-hmm.
And now, I'm going to bring this picture of Sharon Tate back up.
Yes, gorgeous.
No,
Drop dead doll.
Now, Liesel's the 16-year-old daughter of the family, and Julie Andrews is the star of the movie who plays as the nanny who comes in and, like, saves the day. Julie Andrews is pretty.
Yeah.
She's very pretty. But I would be sick if I was Julie Andrews and Sharon Tate was playing the 16-year-old daughter.
Right, and you
I'd be sick.
Girl, you had to sit.
And here's the thing about Julie Andrews. She didn't play around. She said it as it was.
Girl.
She originated the role of Eliza Doolittle on stage in My Fair Lady. And then when Warner Brothers picked it up to make it into a movie, they cast Audrey Hepburn, saying she had name appeal. So Julie Andrews did the show Camelot, which led her to doing Mary Poppins. And when she won the Oscar for Mary Poppins, she looked in the camera and she goes, I want to thank Mr. Jack Warner. Without him, this wouldn't have been possible because he fired her from the movie.
Girl, I mean, shit like that happens all the time with so many people. You hit your low before you hit your high.
Could you imagine her, like, just winning, like, fuck you, Sharon, you're too pretty?
Yeah, I could see that, but I could see her doing that, like, tongue-in-cheek.
Yes.
Like...
Well, everyone loved Sharon. Like, she was super nice. She was described as being, like, incredibly intelligent and incredibly dumb at the same time.
Mm-hmm.
Like, she could just, like, talk about things for hours, and then she would, like, water an artificial plant.
I loved that. Me too, honestly.
She was also super, like, open about sex, and she's like, yeah, people should live together and have sex before they get married.
Period.
But she was also like, yes, it's like... As soon as I get married, I'm retiring. Like, I'm gonna be a housewife.
She's my type of gal.
It's just her. Like that duality, like, which is great because, like, I feel it too. Like, I'm super sex positive, but I also want to get married and, like, raise kids. So finally, he relented and cast her in her first substantial role in Eye of the Devil.
Ooh.
In this mystery thriller, she starred as the witch Odile, alongside stars David Niven and Deborah Kerr. Director J. Lee Thompson spoke of his initial reluctance to hire Martin's young protege, and he actually was quoted as saying that him and the producer agreed to give her 2 weeks, and if she didn't work out, they would fire her.
I mean, I feel like that happens sometimes in Hollywood. I don't feel like that's a unusual thing.
Instead, she really shone next to the more experienced actors who expressed admiration for her. And while she didn't have a lot of lines, she was in a lot of scenes, and her role was absolutely crucial in creating the ethereal, magical, creepy tone to the film that leads to the suspense.
Okay.
Sebring traveled with Sharon to London to prepare for the filming, but had to return to his business in LA while she traveled to France for production. And after filming, she returned to London where she absolutely fell in love with the city. She loved the mod style, the revolutionary music of artists like the Beatles, the nightlife scene in like Soho. She stated that it was exciting, and while some of it filtered to America, Americans were too conservative and puritanical for the full experience of the swinging 60s she was getting in London.
Yeah, I could see that. Americans can be pretty conservative.
Yeah, and like, I don't know, when you think of swinging, like the swinging 60s, you think of the Beatles, you think of Twiggy, you think of London and Soho.
You got a point there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All those Revlon London commercials. Rimmel London.
Yes.
Is
Yeah.
it Rimmel?
I don't fucking know.
I don't know.
However you say it.
Whatever that drugstore makeup brand from London is, and like all of the images like make it look like it's still the 60s.
Get the London look.
Yes. And she has a gap as wide as the Panama Canal in her teeth.
And you too can look like DJ. Inbred.
You bitch. It was during her stay in London she met young Polish film director Roman Polanski. Polanski was born in interwar Paris to Polish expatriates who moved back with him to Krakow when he was 4. 2 years later, Nazi Germany invaded Poland, and 6-year-old Roman was expelled from school after a few weeks due to his Jewish ancestry, and his family was moved into one of the ghettos the German occupiers set up for Jewish citizens. Both of his parents were rounded up by the Nazis and sent to concentration camps, and Roman was only saved by the fact that he was out scouring for food when his apartment was raided. His father, though, had prepared for this by arranging for his son to live with Catholic friends in the countryside. After the war, he was reunited with his father, who had survived Mauthausen, but his mother, who was 4 months pregnant the last time he had seen her, had died at Auschwitz. He attended the State Film School in Lodz and began making films, earning international recognition for his first full-length film, Knife in the Water, which allowed him to break into directing English-language films in the West. At the time they met, Polanski was preparing for his newest film, The Fearless Vampire Killers, a comedic take on the classic vampire films, which he wrote and planned on directing and starring in. He wanted red-headed actress Jill St. John to play the role of the beautiful innkeeper's daughter and later love interest of his own character, but Martin insisted he cast Sharon. Their first meeting over dinner did not go well, as she tried to converse with him, and he ignored all of her questions and instead asked her really deep probing questions.
That's so weird.
Now, mind you, he's like a 5'5" little Polak. He's not very attractive. He doesn't speak English very well. He has a very thick accent. And she's just like, so yeah, what do you do for fun? Would you do film topless?
Before you try and cancel us for the Polak thing, DJ's Polish.
He agreed to screen test her and begrudgingly cast her after seeing her in a red wig and saying, yeah, she'll do. The production moved to Italy, where Sharon's fluent Italian helped smooth things over between the cast and crew and the locals.
Oh, nice. Good for her.
Polanski, however, had little patience with the still very new to acting Sharon, and Sharon struggled with how perfectionist Polanski was, such as an instance where he made her do a single take 70 times in a row.
Do you know how pissed I'd be? Girl, that's just a waste of time. What the fuck? That's crazy.
But as filming progressed, Polanski began to praise Sharon and her confidence grew. And during the filming, the two developed a romantic relationship, and when filming wrapped, she moved back to London to live with Polanski.
Oh, so she left the hairstylist.
You're right, Paul. The only hang-up was she's still technically dating Jay.
Oh!
In London, she called Jay and told him the relationship was over and that she was in love with Polanski.
She really did a Dear John on his ass. That's
She did
crazy.
not do a Dear John. She called him.
That's
She
all.
did a long distance.
Girl.
She paid money.
She said, "Can you marry me that ring back? I'm gonna need that back, girl." Girl.
She did not ask for it back. She let him keep it.
Oh my gosh, girl, that's crazy.
Wait, do you want to hear what's crazier? Jay flew to London to try and convince her to change her mind, and she refused. Instead, she set up dinner for her, Jay, and Polanski, where Jay interrogated Polanski for hours. And at the end of the dinner, he looked at Polanski and he said, I dig you, man.
He said, yo, what if we make this kind of like a three-way? You, me, her, me, you, me again, maybe her and you, and I watch. We could make this work, brother.
No, he just, at the end of it, he gave them his blessing and he started a friendship with both of them.
Well,
but everyone said that he still held a candle for Sharon. Like, he spent the rest of his life in love with her.
well, no shit, look at her.
He continued to wear her class ring.
I don't blame him. Look at her. I'd wear that ring too. Jesus. It'd be like if I was dating Zac Efron. You think I'd take that shit off? Zac Efron gives me anything. I'm wearing that shit the rest of my life.
Sharon soon returned to the U.S. to film her next picture, Don't Make Waves, a comedic take on the beach movies popular in the 50s. But she was less than thrilled with it because basically she was exploited for her looks. She spent most of the movie clad in only a bikini, and she began to sarcastically refer to herself as sexy little me. She later said to a reporter, quote, "It's a terrible movie. Sometimes I say things I shouldn't. I guess I'm too outspoken."
Good for her. She's rebelling. It's her reputation era.
She was soon joined by Polanski, who was preparing to make the film Rosemary's Baby. He hoped to cast Shannon in the part.
Shannon.
Sharon.
You said Shannon.
Shit.
Come on, DJ.
I watched too much Kath and Kim.
Her name's Sharon too, DJ.
Is it?
Yes.
Oh no.
Jesus Christ.
Whoops. We're gonna cut all that. He hoped to cast Sharon in the title role of Rosemary, but was hesitant to suggest his live-in girlfriend to star as the title role of the movie, and hoping that somebody else would. They did not. But she did help him through the production, and he later cited the nightmare scene in which Rosemary is raped by the devil was inspired by dreams both he and Sharon had, as well as their experience on drugs. In 1967, Playboy magazine ran an article on Sharon saying, "This is the year that Sharon Tate happens." Both Eye of the Devil and The Fearless Vampire Killers were slated for release, and Sharon also signed for her first starring role in a drama called Valley of the Dolls.
Oh, okay.
Do you want to hear more about Valley of the Dolls?
Nope, keep going.
Okay. In late 1967, Sharon and Polanski returned to London because all three movies got pretty panned. The only highlight was Eye of the Devil was described as being a bad movie, with the only redeeming quality being Sharon. And Fearless Vampire Killers was basically butchered. And Polanski was just like, fuck America. So they returned to London.
You know what else is about to be butchered?
My pussy?
Sharon.
Foreshadowing. They were often photographed. They were often featured in newspapers as the hip, modern, unconventional it couple, being photographed dining at the best restaurants and in exclusive nightclubs. Sharon was quoted saying that couples should live together and marry, and discussing sex. They were described as, quote, the imperfect couple. They were the Douglas Fairbanks, Mary Pickford of our time. Cool, nomadic, talented, and nicely shocking. But they were at a crossroads in their relationship.
Oh, no.
Polanski was a notorious womanizer and refused to be monogamous. Sharon, whose lifelong self-confidence issues often led to her being dominated by men, agreed to allow him to roam while desperately wanting to get married. Polanski had no interest, as he was divorced already, and tried to convince Sharon that their relationship was perfect as is. Finally, Polanski said to her over dinner one night, "So, you want to be married?" And she said, "Yes." And he said, "Then we'll get married."
Hey, that was easy. That's a lot easier than I thought it was going to be.
But also the most unromantic proposal ever. Like, so,
I guess.
So you really want to get married? Yes. Fine.
You're lucky you got those Danny DeVito tits.
They were married on January 20th, 1968 at the Chelsea Registry Office in London to much media attention. She wore a cream-colored wedding dress with a high collar, puffy princess sleeves, and a miniskirt that was described as being so mini it might as well be a minus.
That sounds ugly as shit.
It is not my taste.
It sounds ugly as shit.
Polanski was dressed in full Edwardian refinery in a green velvet suit with bell-bottom pants and a ruffled lacy cravat.
Green velvet makes me want to throw the fuck up. That sounds disgusting too.
Sharon had hoped marriage would change Polanski and he would embark on a traditional monogamous marriage with her. Polanski called this Sharon's little hang-up, and whenever she brought it up, he would remind her she had promised to never make him change himself. Sharon once summed it up as, "We have a good arrangement. Roman lies to me, and I pretend to believe him."
Hey.
And he continued to ceaselessly pick up other women, going so far as when they were in LA, he would drive up and down the Sunset Strip and catcall women. And once he pulled up to a stop sign and called out to a woman, "Darling, you have a marvelous ass." And when she turned around, it was Sharon.
It was like, oh yeah, I know it was you, sweetheart. Yeah, I meant to do that.
Initially in LA, they settled in the famed Chateau Marmont.
Wait, don't you hate when you catcall women and it ends up being your wife? Don't you just hate
Don't
when
you
that
hate
happens?
it when you catcall women and it ends up being your mom?
Oh,
I don't have that experience. My mother's dead, but Paul is an expert.
wait, did he actually do that? Oh, you were just saying.
I was joking.
Okay.
Which is famously haunted. Before leasing a 3-bedroom home high up in Benedict Canyon that used to belong to producer Terry Melcher at 10050 Cielo Drive, which Sharon called their love house.
Aw, house tour.
In late 1968, Sharon learned she was pregnant as she was about to begin filming The 13 Chairs. Polanski was not especially happy about the prospect, but gradually grew on the idea of being a father. Tate hoped fatherhood would spur him to stop his adultery, which was becoming more and more flagrant. In one case, he slept with one of her friends, who then told her about it.
The way I would cut the both of them out of my life so quick. The way it would be done.
But as the pregnancy wore on, she began to doubt her marriage to Polanski more and lean on Sebring for emotional support. She departed the U.S. for Italy for filming, and Polanski headed to London to work on his next film, and the couple asked his friend Wojciech Frykowski and his girlfriend, Folger's coffee heiress Abigail Gibby Folger, to move in to watch their new home. Her nickname was Gibby.
Gibby.
That's why I said it like that.
She inspired the iCarly character.
Oh, God.
She had man boobs.
Now, before departing, Sharon posed her photographs on the lawn and became disturbed.
Wait, Folger's like the coffee?
Yeah, she was the Folger's coffee heiress.
Oh my gosh. I bet she would have loved Espresso by Sabrina Carpenter.
She probably would have. Now, before departing, Sharon posed for photographs on the lawn of her home and became disturbed by a scraggy-looking man named Charlie who came looking for Terry Melcher. When Sharon finished filming The 13 Chairs, she traveled to London to be with Polanski before returning to LA to give birth. At the last minute, Polanski canceled his plans to travel with her on board the QE2, and instead she was met at the docks in New York by Sebring, who accompanied her home to California. On July 21st, she had her parents and sisters over to the house on Cielo Drive to watch Neil Armstrong become the first man to step on the moon, and that was the last time she had ever seen her family.
Oh!
Frykowski and Folger remained at the Tate Polanski house on Cielo to be with Sharon until Polanski returned. On Friday, August 8th, 1969, Los Angeles was gripped by a heat wave. Sharon had lunch at her house with a friend and confided her annoyance at Polanski for remaining in London. Polanski later called and informed his wife he would be home by Tuesday. Sharon's sister Deborah called and asked if she could come spend the night, but Sharon asked her to do it another night because she was feeling uncomfortable in the heat. Sharon was expected at a dinner party that evening, but canceled too due to not feeling well. That evening, she, Jay, Frykowski, and Folger had dinner at El Coyote, an upscale Mexican restaurant, and returned to the house around 10:30 p.m. Also on the property that night was William Garrettson, the live-in caretaker for the property, who lived in a guest house behind the main house. A friend of his, 17-year-old Stephen Parrott, drove up to the property to try and sell him a clock radio, which Garrettson declined.
Rough.
Shortly after midnight, it wasn't like anything personal, it was just like, I have a stereo, I have tons of clocks, like, I have no use for this.
I don't need your shitty clock. Get the fuck in.
Shortly after midnight, Parrott began to leave the property when a man stepped out of the bushes near the gate with a gun and shouted at him to halt. Parrott begged the man, who came to the driver's side window, to let him go, and he wouldn't say anything, but the man attacked him with a knife, slicing his hand from between the pinky and the ring finger all the way down his wrist, cutting his watch off.
Oh!
The man then shot Parrott 4 times in the head and the chest, killing him, before leaning into the car, turning the engine off, at which point he called to 3 companions to help him move the car away from the sight line of the gate. He told one woman to wait by the gate, and he and the other 2 approached the house, where they cut a screen on a window and forced it open and climbed in. They found Frykowski asleep on the couch. The man kicked him in the head, and upon waking up, Frykowski asked, "Who are you?" The man kicked him again and ordered the women to find something to tie him up with. Frykowski again asked the man who he was and what he wanted. The man leaned down and in a guttural voice said, "I'm the devil, and I'm here to do the devil's business."
Okay, that would actually be so scary. Like,
You wake up and there's just this crazy man kicking you and punching you, and he says that.
Yeah, that would be... I don't even know what I would... Like, well, I'm just a twink, so I'd get beat the fuck up. Like, there's nothing I could do, but, like, being in that situation, it's so scary. Like, you're saying it in a very light voice, your light feminine voice, but it's actually a very scary, like, situation.
Hang on. I'm the devil, and I'm here to do the devil's business.
It would be that. Like, I can't even imagine. That would be, like, so spooky. You might even, like, think it was a prank at first, because,
right?
like, what the
or
fuck?
Or just, like, that's the moment where you realize this isn't just a regular burglary.
Right.
After the women came back with a towel to bind Frykowski, the man ordered the 2 women to get the other occupants of the house. They found Folger reading in bed, and Sharon and Sebring were sitting talking in her bedroom. They were brought to the living room where Frykowski had been bound. His hands had been bound with the towel.
Mm-hmm.
The man tied a rope around Sebring's neck, threw it over one of the beams across the ceiling, and then began to tie the other end around Sharon's. Sebring lashed out, demanding the man be gentle with her due to her pregnancy. The man turned and shot Sebring, who fell to the ground as the man repeatedly kicked the bleeding out Sebring.
That's crazy. And didn't he say, too, like, wasn't he trying to protect Sharon? Like, didn't he say something along the lines of, she's pregnant, leave her alone,
Yeah,
and then they shot him, protecting
her. It was,
her.
can't you see she's pregnant? Like, leave her alone, can't you see she's pregnant? And he turned around and said, "Didn't I tell you to open your mouth one more time?" and shot him.
Exactly. Like, it's crazy. Like, and at that point, I don't even know what I would do at that point.
Folger was taken back to her bedroom where she got $70 out of her purse and gave it to the intruders. They demanded more, and Sharon said she could get more if she was given more time. At this point, Frykowski managed to free himself and began struggling with one of the women who stabbed at his legs. He managed to fight his way out the front door and onto the front porch screaming for help before the man caught up with him and beat him with the handle of the gun about the head before shooting him twice, causing him to fall into the bushes next to the front door.
Oh my gosh.
Inside, Folger escaped from the other woman and out a door to the pool area, where the woman tackled her and stabbed her repeatedly and was soon joined by the man who continued to stab her with the woman. So they're both stabbing her at the same time.
Oh my god. Do you know what's better than Folgers in your cup? And a live daughter?
That was rough.
Do you know what's better than Folgers in your cup?
What?
Not getting stabbed by a bunch of dirty hippies. Do you know what's better?
No.
I don't have any
done.
more.
You're done. You're done. I can't take any more. Frykowski somehow was still alive, despite being stabbed multiple times, beaten about the head with a revolver, and shot twice. It was struggling across the lawn, at which point the man returned and began to stab him repeatedly until he was dead.
These murders are so brutal.
The three intruders returned inside, where Sharon waited, still untouched.
Could you imagine, like, what she's going through in that moment, though? Like, you're watching... Not only are you watching all of your friends being stabbed, murdered, killed right in front of you, but you're also pregnant.
Yeah.
So you're, like, worried about your child, and, like... I can't even imagine, like, what was going through her head at that moment.
At this point, she pleaded with them to take her hostage until she gave birth, and then they could kill her. The three momentarily argued over this, and then attacked her, stabbing her repeatedly in the stomach and chest before leaving her crumpled in front of the sofa.
Do you know how sick of a person you have to be to kill a pregnant woman? Like, you have to be so fucking sick in the head.
Do you know how sick you have to be to kill a pregnant woman by stabbing her in the stomach?
That, in my opinion, is one of the sickest acts you can do.
Also, for any of you wondering, like, maybe she wasn't showing, she was 8.5 months pregnant.
Right.
She was nearly ready to give birth.
Right. So she was very obviously pregnant. It wasn't like they didn't know she was very obviously pregnant.
Yes. The three then went around and stabbed the bodies again repeatedly to assure themselves that they were all dead. Sebring was beaten beyond recognition and died still wearing Sharon's high school ring. Frykowski was stabbed 51 times, shot twice, and had 13 distinct strikes to the head from the gun. He was beaten so hard that the handle of the gun, you know how like they used to have wooden grips on either side? One of the wooden grips broke off on his skull. Folger had been stabbed 28 times to the point where she bled so profusely that her white nightgown became so blood-soaked that it was thought to have been red when she was found. They didn't know it was
white
until after they took it off her.
That's insane.
Sharon had been stabbed 16 times. Any number of the single wounds would have been fatal. Finally, acting on orders, one of the women, the one called Sadie, dipped a towel in Sharon's blood and used it to scrawl one haunting word on the pristine white front door. Pig.
Pig? What the fuck does pig have? See, when I think pig, I think the police. That's such a... And it gives cult vibes a little bit. It's like, pig doesn't really make sense to me. I assume it'll make sense in part 2 when you enlighten us on whatever the fuck these people are doing and how, like, fucked up these people must have been. But pig, the only thing that I think of when I think pig is the cops, the police. Yeah. But, like, none of them were policemen. Like, so this doesn't make sense.
Well, it probably had a different connotation back then.
I don't know. It's such a dark thing to do. And it seems so random. It's just, like, I don't even know what to think. And, like, it's kind of like if, like, Taylor Swift got murdered today. Kind of like an equivalent to that. Like,
oh, just wait. It gets more random.
This is so fucking wild. Like, it's such... Well, actually, at the same time, I will say, too, she is a very famous person, so that does take away some of the randomness for me, because a lot of people do know who she is, so that does take away some of the randomness for me. But still.
So I'm gonna say, first of all, you're doing what a lot of people do, and they're trying to find meaning in this.
Mm-hmm.
When, as we're gonna see in part 2, there is no meaning. It's just random. It's truly just random. There is no meaning. There's no higher purpose. There was no cause behind it. And the second thing is, for those of you wondering, and I'm sure a lot of you know the story and know that next we're going to cover the Manson family and Helter Skelter. But I wanted to tell the story this way, and I'm going to get more into it at the end of part 2, because Sharon Tate is remembered often as a victim of a crime.
Mm-hmm.
And in the true crime world, it's so easy to talk in depth about the murderers and forget about the victims. And it's very important, Sharon Tate, to remember that these victims were young people full of promise and hopes and dreams. And that they were people and not just pawns in an evil man's story.
Period. I mean, Sharon was like probably one of the brightest lights at the time. Like,
Yeah.
one of the most promising people.
Oh
let
my
alone,
god!
like,
I was just like thinking, like, when you think about like all the movies that came after,
mm-hmm.
what great things she could have done, and how like she said at one point, like, yeah, I don't see myself doing Shakespeare, but I want to do comedy, and right before her death, she started doing comedy. She played a klutzy spy in The Wrecking Ball, and she played like a sarcastic antique stealer in The 13 Chairs. And like everyone was like, she was so funny. Like she was great because she was really pretty. You don't expect someone like that to like be funny.
Mm-hmm.
And it just added to the fun.
Right. Jeez. This is so crazy. I didn't like realize like how like awesome of a person like she was like
And
before this.
everyone loved her.
Mm-hmm.
Like Mia Farrow, who got the role in Rosemary's Baby over her, they became close friends. Sharon helped her through her divorce from Frank Sinatra. Like everyone just described her as being like, she was just a nice person. She was just great to be around. And at the end of the day, like she was friends with all these Hollywood people, and she preferred to like cook in her house and have a few close friends over and have dinner with them quietly.
Yeah, it really does go back to that old true crime cliche where it's like she lit up a room everywhere she went and everything. It's very much that, but it's true. And you know what I mean by that. Like literally everyone describes like everyone is like they would light up the room. Like everyone who was murdered lit up a room when they walked in, but it was really true for Sharon.
Now when I die, no one's gonna say I lit up a room. I was not a light in nobody's life. I was not a pillar of the community. I was not everyone's friend. That's it.
Okay, I thought there was gonna be a...
You thought there was gonna be a but.
But there is no but.
There
Kinda
is
like
no
you,
but.
flat.
Yeah. Jesus.
No, this is a really fucked up story, and it
Yeah.
actually does make me really sad, and I do feel for Sharon and all the people that were murdered.
There's no, like, we're not
And-
getting rid of Smash or Pass. There's just no Smash or Pass after that. Like, there's no joy, there's no happiness.
I do want to say rest in peace, Mr. Sebring, because you would have loved Paul Mitchell.
I think you would have hated Paul Mitchell.
Rest in peace, Miss Folger. You would have loved Espresso by Sabrina Carpenter. Rest in peace, Sharon Tate, because you would have loved Taylor Swift. I just know it.
She would have loved Taylor Swift. Taylor Swift. I'm gonna DM Taylor Swift and be like, you need to do something Sharon Tate related. You need to like, but like pre-Manson, like you need to do something about like what a joy she was.
Right. I have one more. Rest in peace to the alarm clock radio guy.
Steven?
He really would have loved the iPhone.
You're forgetting.
It's all of it in one.
You're forgetting a victim. Wojciech Frykowski.
And wasn't there another girl? The girl in the nightgown? I don't know anything about
That was Abigail Folger.
Oh.
That was Gibby Folger.
Okay, well, I don't know anything about Mr. Frykowski, but...
Frykowski. He was
Frykowski.
an aspiring screen director.
Well,
You would have loved Masterclass.
rest in peace. You would have loved Masterclass, whatever that is.
Okay, we found the joy again. No.
Well, I'm looking forward to part 2 to learn more about...
The perpetrators.
Yeah, and see why the fuck they would do this. And learn more about, I guess you said it's the Manson family.
Yeah.
And yeah, learn more about whatever the fuck the Manson family was doing.
Yeah.
So yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this first before I close it out.
No, that's it. I'm done.
I hope you guys enjoyed this first episode
Yeah.
back. It was a lot of fun. Hopefully, you
Hopefully.
enjoyed the darkness.
Hopefully
and
you
this.
learned something about Sharon Tate that you didn't know before.
I love learning about Tates.
And on that, please be sure to like, subscribe, follow wherever you are listening. If you have personal stories that you'd like shared on the podcast, please email us at our email below. Please join us next Sunday at 7 Eastern, unless we say differently on our social media, for Twinks and Drinks. Paul, where can they find you?
You can find me at my personal Instagram and TikTok at Paulember, Paulember. And as usual, it's not delivery, it's DiGiorno.
And if you'd like to follow me on social media, please do so on Instagram and TikTok at The Real Deej Powers. And until next time, guys, remember to keep your grips tight.
And your corks loose.
Bye.
Don't stab me in my Tate, mister! It's fragile!